Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another malicious compliance Reddit video. I expect this parking situation to be solved immediately without additional emails or text messages. Okay, done. I originally posted this to r/ahole tax, but it was pointed out there that it probably belongs here. I am a building manager and I took over 2 residential apartment blocks. Part of my duties include assigning parking spots. Due to the incompetence and neglect of the previous management company, I inherited a parking lot which was a complete organizational disaster. Multiple tenants believing they had been assigned the same spot, tenants parking in spots but not paying, etc. And of course, the parking map, which is supposed to be regularly updated, had not seen an update in almost 16 months. A situation arose where 2 tenants were fighting over the same parking spot. Instead of coming to management to resolve it, they engaged in a nasty gram war which consisted of them leaving mean notes on each other's car. Eventually, this dispute spilled over and I was contacted by one of them. The conversation was simple but plain. I expressed understanding about their frustration and asked specific questions to help figure out who was originally assigned that parking spot. I explained how previous management failed to maintain order in the parking map and that I would cheerfully resolve the issue. Instead of replying to my simple questions, when were you assigned the spot, when did you sign your lease, they sent me an all-caps email which, in part, read, "I do not have to answer any questions and I expect this parking situation to be resolved immediately with no more emails or text messages." Well, if they had just answered my questions, I could have resolved the situation. I suspected they were the original tenant assigned the spot and it was indeed theirs. But since they would not answer questions and insisted on resolution immediately, I did what I could. I assigned the other tenant that spot and I replied, "In order to resolve the issue without communication, you are now assigned spot number 64. If you continue to park in spot 35, you will be towed immediately as it is now assigned to a different tenant." I gave them the spot right next to the dumpsters. Now they can enjoy the stench of rotting garbage and a cloud of wasps every trip to their car, which is also 100 meters further away from the doors. 2 days later, they approached me in person and apologized for the behavior. I said, "No worries, I don't hold grudges." They asked if I could reassign them their old spot. No. You want me to cancel all your subscriptions? Yeah, I can do that. Sorry if my English is not the greatest, but it's not my native language. I used to work at a call center for one of the biggest teleproviders in our country. Mobile subscriptions, internet, landlines, all that. The call center I worked at was also only for business clients and not private customers. So it was not unusual for a client to have a lot of mobile subscriptions. One thing to note, I'm not sure how changing mobile providers in other countries works, but in my country, you have to get the other company you want to transfer to order the numbers from where you are now to them. You cannot cancel your subscription and then have it transferred. If you cancel your subscription, it stops working right away. If you want to transfer after that, then you need to order a reopening of the subscription on that phone number for it to be able to be transferred to the other teleprovider. And the reopening is treated as a new order and a new subscription, so it's an ordeal to go through. Also, and this is important for the story, if you have a debt collection case for an invoice with the teleprovider you are currently at, you will then no longer be able to get new subscriptions with that company until the debt collection is paid in full. Now on to my story. I get a call in from a customer who had maybe 10 to 15 mobile subscriptions with us, as well as an internet subscription, and apparently they worked in sales. The customer was very angry on the phone. He tells me that they have received a debt collection case from us for an invoice they had not paid, which was true. There was an invoice in our systems that they had not paid, and it had indeed gone to debt collection. He then told me that he knew about the invoice, but had just not bothered to pay it. What did you expect to happen if he didn't pay it? He then proceeded to berate me for sending them a debt collection and demanded that we cancel it immediately. One thing to note is that none of the people that worked on the floor of the call center have the authority to cancel debt collection cases. We need to send a case to another department for that. He would not let me send a case, nor would he let me call a supervisor to maybe expedite things. He said that I should cancel it right away or he would cancel all of their subscriptions right this second. Cue malicious compliance. Normally, when people threaten to cancel their subscriptions because of some reason, they mean they want to transfer their business to another provider. I usually refer them to contact that other provider so they can start the process. This time, however, since the customer was being an a-hole, I did not do that. I asked point blank, "Do you want to cancel your subscriptions with us immediately?" "Yes." "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Okay then, I will cancel all your subscriptions right this second." "Good, a-hole." Then he hung up. I logged the call with every detail that he had said and everything he had asked me to do and added an extra line of, "If any doubts, just listen to the recording of the call." I got at it and went ahead and canceled all of the subscriptions this client had with us, all of them, even their internet subscription. After about an hour, one of my coworkers got a very angry call from the client, who was forced to call from another phone because guess what? Their subscription was canceled. I was done for the day, so I just went home, but my coworker filled me in the next day. The client had yelled and screamed that they were no longer able to call out or receive calls, as well as their internet was down. My coworker had read the log I created and informed the client that they had terminated their services with us, so of course they would not be able to receive any calls or make them. The unhappy customer demanded that we reopen their subscriptions so that they could do their work. My coworker had to inform them again that it would not be possible since they had a debt collection case that needed to be paid first, or else none of the orders they put in would go through. After more screaming and profanities, my coworker had to end the call. The next day I had the evening shift, but I had saved the client's information to see if anything else had happened. Apparently, the debt collection got paid and the subscriptions were reopened. They now had also ordered a transfer to another provider. I have no idea how much money they lost, but for a sales team to not be able to work for over 24 hours, I can only guess that it was a lot. Also, as a cherry on top of things, they were in a contract period with us, which means that they get a small discount on their subscriptions if they are with us for a set period of time. If they break that contract, which they did when they told me to cancel the subscriptions, as well as transferring to another provider afterwards, they had to pay a fee of over $300 per subscription. That was at least $4,500 on top of what they lost during the 24 hours they couldn't do any sales. All of this because they didn't want to pay a $30 late fee. No bag allowed in X-ray? No problem. This malicious compliance is my partner's rather than mine. My partner is currently on clinical placement as a healthcare student based in the X-ray department. Due to working in a hospital, her supervisor has told all the students that they cannot carry any bags with them at any time, no exceptions. However, the staff are allowed small bags. Unfortunately for my partner, Aunt Flo is currently visiting and requires attending to a minimum of once an hour. This means that she needs access to her bag at least as often, the same bag which is not permitted to leave the changing rooms, which are a good 15-minute walk outside away from the department. If you have ever worked or been a patient in a hospital, you will understand how they are both endlessly big and labyrinthine. Her supervisor listened to the above and agreed that it was not a good situation, but that she could not and would not change the rules just for my partner, who should just deal with it. She made it clear that it was not her problem to fix and my partner should fix it herself. My partner complied with the instruction and dealt with it. She took the fresh, full box of sanitary products out of her bag and plopped it in the X-ray control room in full view of the rest of the staff and other students. By the end of the day, the staff and students were advised that the rule had changed and students could carry a bag if needed. This is John from /bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one is coming, then subscribe. I'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.